إن الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه. الحمد لله وكفى، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه ومن والاه، وبعد. فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الحديث حديث محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أيها الأخوة الكرام وأخوات السيدات، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. To our respected non-Muslim guests, fellow colleagues, neighbors, co-workers, faculty, administration, MI5, welcome. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Almighty God, to bless us, guide us, facilitate us to fulfill the task that has been placed in front of us to present this theme called the purpose of life. As our brother said, that this purpose of life is a theme that we launched around 1990. We began to discuss this theme because it was, in my personal experience and my own personal estimation, it was more important to discuss with non-Muslims a theme of this nature than to begin discussing religion. Religion in the world today is very, sometimes provocative, misunderstood, a source of argument and debate. So for me as a person born a non-Muslim, I realized that Muslims who are very enthusiastic, very convinced about their faith, and they, of course, anyone who has something valuable, they want to share it with others. And if they believe that what they have is absolutely the truth, they're going to speak about it that way. But when you're speaking to others who don't necessarily share that enthusiasm or accept that as a fact, then in a matter of discussion, it is not a fact. It is something, simply a proposition. And therefore, we have to present it as a proposition. And propositions can be accepted or propositions can be rejected. And if they are rejected, still it's okay in an air of respect. We're living in a world today where reciprocity, freedom of speech, these are key words. So people don't have to accept what we believe to be the absolute truth, whatever it is. People don't have to accept the fact that we worship God or that there is a God. People don't have to accept that. People don't have to accept that Muhammad ﷺ is the final prophet of Almighty God. They don't even have to accept that prophets exist or need to exist. People don't have to accept that the Quran is the final revelation of Almighty God, or that revelation, in fact, has any meaning or significance for human beings. They don't have to accept that. People can walk in this room and they can say that the lights are off. While all of us are quite aware, that the lights are on. But respectfully, if they say the lights are off, we have to accept for them that that's their right to say that. Somebody can point upwards and say that's the earth, and somebody can point downwards and say this is the sky. I don't believe most of us would agree with that, but freedom of speech says that people have the right to make their own determinations. Isn't it correct? So the purpose of life is built upon that kind of premise, proposition, discussion, talking with people, communicating with people around a common theme that I think hardly anyone can reject. What is that theme? That we are among the living. That we are among the living. And that all around us, this cosmos, this phenomena, this environment, this planet we live on, the earth and its ecosystems and the universe that we live within and that we experience, this is a part of what science, academia, and the world calls life. So for myself, I thought that when I meet people, rather than talk about religion, let's talk about something that all of us can agree about, and that is life. Now, the questions about life are many. And there I found that when I met people, white or black or tall or short, or male or female, or rich or poor, or educated or non-educated, hip-hop people and intellectual people, all kinds of people I meet. On the planes, on the trains, on the buses, and in the streets, I meet all kinds of people. I never found anyone who in a general conversation was not willing to just discuss life. Sometimes people like to discuss different aspects of life. Money, women, men, marriage, children, clothes, weather, employment, this and that. All this is part of life. Some people like to talk about the macro part of life. Other people like to talk about the micro part of life. People talk about things in the East or in the West, and people talk about all kinds of life, but I never found any human being who wasn't willing to discuss some form of life. For instance, if I go to a store and I'm checking out, at the check, and the person has a name badge on, and it says her name, maybe it's a lady, her name is Camellia. So after she checked, I said, "Thank you very much, Camellia." She smiles. She wasn't smiling at anybody else, but when I said, "Thank you very much, Camellia," she smiles. Why? Because psychologically, a warm feeling came over her when I said her name. Because psychologically, when she was born, she learned that name in that same way. So whenever the name is spoken, she got a warm feeling coming over her. So psychologically, that's a part of life. So I can start a conversation with a person once they're warmed up. But if I didn't say that, and I said to her, "Hey, listen, excuse me, what do you think about Islam?" She said, what does that got to do with it? We in Asda. But once I said her name, she forgot that she had on a name badge there, but she smiled. And then I would say to her, "Oh, you have a very nice smile. How you feel? Where you from?" And so, we got 2 or 3 minutes while we're bagging up the groceries, and she tells me where she's from. And I said, "Oh, I've been there before. What's the capital city there?" Or so-and-so. And we have a little dialogue, and I said, "Let me ask you a question. What you think about life? How you feel?" She said, "I feel good." "So what you think about life in general?" She said, "I don't know what you mean." I said, "About life. I mean, do you believe in God, or you don't believe in God? Do you think there's a creator? Do you think that you created this? You think you just came here by chance? Or what do you think?" She said, "You know what? I never really thought about it." "Okay, Camila, I'll tell you what. Here's my card. My email is there. One day when you get to thinking about it, send me an email. Let's have a little dialogue." She says, "I won't do that." So you see here, in just that 2 or 3 minutes, I was able to do what we call in conversation penetrate. No problem. Probably out of 150 or 250 checkout customers that she had that day, I'm sure she's going to remember me. Not because of me. I mean, she might remember that guy with the red beard, this funny talking guy. Especially in the UK, he probably was an American, But I think the nature of the conversation, the nature of what I said to her is going to stick out. It's going to be distinct. Because I asked a simple question that she never really thought about. What you think about life? What you think about the purpose of it? Where you think it came from? It was a little bit too much for her to answer and too fast at the checkout counter. But probably she's going to think about that later on. Now, one of you, Camelias, might be here today. Or one of you, Jeffries or Johns, Bobs, might be here today, who never thought about this. That's what our discussion is about today. And I want to start out from asking a question. Where did you come from and where are you going? Now, it's fairly simple. It's not too academic and it's not too philosophical. The question is, where did you come from and where are you going? A fundamental set of questions which can be answered in a limited manner or in a very comprehensive manner. You could say your country of origin, your city, your activity, your social environment, or more accurately, what is the origin of your creation?